positions. Personally, I do not. But how do we, because what happens when the youth increase beyond 78%? What happens if the youth drop beyond maybe 50%? So it's not about increasing the youth positions, it's about empowering these young people to be able to go into these direct seats or the woman member of parliament seats. For me, that is what I believe in. If you empower these youth, trust me, they will go in those positions. Yes.
Now I'm coming to you, Bbaale. You see, Bbaale.
Yes.
Dr. Nalukwago talks about the increased number of those in positions of vying for different positions being youth. And you see, some think that you are going there to eat. We know that the seat you want to take is an excellent plate, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Mr. Baguma. Let me just highlight something small on the issue of the discontented majority.
Then you tell me about the eating.
Yeah, you know, some people may seem not to be active into these leadership positions because they have a lot that is eating their lives behind the doors. Now I just want to create a mental picture for you. For a student who has just graduated with expensive tuition and jobless at the same time. Leave that one aside. We have the other category of the youth who has no capacity to access any job in the formal setting. We have a youth who is okay at least having what you call a small business, but it is being drained down because of the huge or heavy taxes. So why they are majority and discontented but not active? Because they have a lot that is eating their lives. That is point number one. They would wish to come, I feel, but because of such challenges that are eating up their lives, they choose to stay silent. Given this aspect of also silencing their voices through things like prisoning them, tear gas, and also intimidation that is physical. We are seeing the issue of Dr. Besigye. Everyone is watching. How do you expect a person with all those challenges to come up and say, I'm going on the street? That's why we are choosing to come up with a civilized way of attacking this. We say, okay, if our challenges are not given attention, the youth graduate without jobs. Those ones who have jobs work under bad conditions like limited payments. Those ones who have at least small businesses have heavy taxes. So they are almost wasting their productive years without achieving anything. Let us go to the National Parliament and advocate for them. Let us amplify their voices. Let us amplify voices and also concerns of what is really limiting their progress. That's why when I was beginning, I said, if we increase on their number, my sister here said the direct seats, that is okay. But when you come to a constituency level, you're representing the youth, the mothers, the fathers, and so on. But this one particularly is a special interest group of which each generation is having its own challenges. So if we unify those voices with the solution number one, increase the representation of the youth in the National Assembly because they make the biggest population, we shall tackle challenges like the lack of access to...
you want to go and eat, enjoy them.
Oh no, I'm coming to the issue of... No, I'm coming to the issue of...
Anyway.
Okay, I'm coming to the issue of eating. We say if we unify the voices as youth, issues like economic empowerment, because it is we who understand what we are going through. You set up your business, but that is not enough. There is somewhere where you're going to be hit by a storm out of external factors like heavy taxes. Let us at least have access to capital. We have mentorship programs and mindset change programs, and then we exempt the youth from paying taxes because we have enough resources in the country. We have print of God within Uganda. That can be a compensation. And then we also empower the youth within entrepreneurship. Within that aspect, you're helping this generation of the youth who have come out of school unemployed, and also these ones who have no basic requirements to achieve or to acquire employment to be empowered. That is solution number one. And then we say,
you have skirted around answering my question.
We got
you
to
are
eat.
running away from answering my question.
We are going to eat.
Why are
I'd love to answer it.
Why are you not accepting
that we are going to
targeting the fat salary and allowances in Parliament, and you can multiply the suits in your wardrobe?
Okay.
Hey.
You know, when Jesus came to preach Christianity, Jesus never came with anything, not even money. So as a leader who is going to put policies that are long-lasting, beyond personal gains, you shouldn't center much on the payment that you're going to get, because this is not employment. Now it goes back to you as a person. Who are you in the making? What are your values and what are your principles? If you come for the aspect of serving people and also adding value to God's kingdom, trust me, money is the least you can look into your service. That's why we are getting such challenges of people who have failed to advocate for our challenges, and you say, let us come up. So the issue of eating, coming back to your question, is okay because that is the general perspective or perception of the society. But truth has to be said, if we are to transform Uganda, the way we call it the Pearl of Africa, we should go back and make introspection. What is my purpose of coming to leadership? Is it really eating or serving? Because eating comes as an additional benefit, but there would be, or something that would front, is a service beyond party, colors, religious beliefs, and also maybe tribes. If you go with that aspect, even God is going to reward you better.
Dr. Nalukwago, you are interested in making the pitch. But you see, Dr. Nalukwago, we also know that some of you want to be road councillors and councillors, because then you have leverage to start influencing tenders. Yeah, in your council.
For a record, my job pays me more than what I'm going to get as a road councillor. That's for a record.
Not you don't have tenders you influence in your job, of course.
No.
So the benefit of the tender are higher.
If I've influenced, if I happen to influence because I've not been there, I think I'm subject to the law. I can be subject to the law. But for a record, my job was paying me more than what I'm going to get as a road councillor. So for me, I'm going there to serve people of Uganda. And there are so many reasons that made me stand as a road councillor. But to tackle your question on bagenda yokulya, they are going to eat. You see, many people debate that question out of context. You have to look at the political system of Uganda currently. The political system of Uganda is the Musevenism political system after 40 years. In that they have made politics so lucrative, it's the most paying job in Uganda right now. When you make politics so lucrative and you have a population of young and old people unemployed, where do you think they're going to run to? They're going to run to the lucrative business.
Even if they were employed, they would run there.
No.
It pays
exactly.
better.
If you make it pay better, in other countries, politicians are paid less than a medical doctor.
Not in Kenya. Not in our neighboring countries.
In many countries that have good service delivery, politicians are paid less than normal service people. For example, doctors, teachers, nurses, etc. But in our countries that are full of dictatorship and bad governance, is where politicians are paid more than the service people who provide services. So you find yourself in a system of very many people want to enter politics because they want to eat. It's a reality. I have had so many people doing that. You find that you're entering a system, for example, let me give an example for youth members of parliament. You're entering a system that is controlled by one man. Decisions are made by one man. What are you going to do in that system? Regardless of your beliefs, of what you want to achieve, or what you want to achieve for the people. They tell you we are passing this COVID bill. Even if it doesn't benefit your people, you're going to pass it. You like it or not. So the whole system is the problem. It may not actually be the people. The whole system of our politics is a big problem in that I've told you they made politics lucrative. For me, I believe this politics of the Musevenism, Museveni outlived his importance around 2006. With the coming of the digital age and all that, he has not spoken to what we the youth want, to the needs of the youth. Needs have changed. When I was in primary school, our basic needs were food, shelter, water, housing. But now data is a basic need. If I don't have data, I am not living in this world. You understand? But when you tell someone like Museveni of 40 years, they cannot understand that. So a shift has happened in the political system of Uganda. But the people who are in the system have failed to change it. That is where all of us go wrong. So we just need to change our system in that the cost of administration is not bigger than the cost of service delivery. At the moment, the cost of administration, where we have so many politicians, so many MPs, so many Lord Councillors, so many councillors, etc., is too big that everyone wants to go there. But then the cost of service delivery is so small in that it's very hard to provide services to the people. So for me, that is my counter argument on why people have that narrative that people are going to eat, which is true. Many of them go there and eat. Yes.
Okay, so viewers, I promised you that we will have a third panelist, and that panelist is here. Moses Kintu has joined us. Moses Kintu is the public relations officer in the office of the national chairperson of the National Resistance Movement. And Moses, you came in at an interesting time, and you are not putting on a yellow t-shirt. So tell us why.
Does he have to?
But he came in at a time when Dr. Nalukwago was emphasizing that your candidate is such an octogenarian that he doesn't understand that the data is a basic need. And it is in the context of our discussion this evening. Our discussion is such that you guys, and you are a youth too, are disconnected from political processes, including the elections and the current ballot, that you are peripheral, that you are discontented. And so, for us, the not so young, we will leave you behind. Yeah, so why are you running around with an individual who doesn't understand that data is a basic need and is perpetuating a disconnection? And you are not going to answer it now. You are going to answer it after we come from a break. We are going for a short break. And when we come back, Moses Kintu, you will start from there. Yeah, don't go away.
Turn away from sin. You better do so, because sin has the same consequences wherever it is.
The only magic soap that we can ever have in the world is the blood of Jesus. Because the moment I accept Christ, that blood immediately washes it. I love that song that says, Jesus paid it all to him I owe.
Everything good you do to one in the household of faith, blessed, you'll become 100-fold. Visit your clergy, visit your preacher, visit your bishop, care for them, stand with them, visit your archbishop, take care of him. All those of the household of faith, when you do that, God will multiply bountifully back to you, because you are honoring God and you are honoring his word.
Prayer is where we get a connection with God through Jesus. Prayer is very important for our unity as believers. But also, as we go through a lot of challenges in this world, the only way to overcome them is to have a time with our God.
When people die, they are good. A dead body is always good. He has done us good. We cannot replace him. There's no one who is replaceable. There's no one. But what can help you? It is to leave a good legacy that people will remember you.
Sometimes I share with my students a small story of an animal which normally is regarded to be the wisest, the hare. Once in a meeting of animals chaired by the lion, which was the king of the animals, he said that all those who are in the meeting and are not married should go out. This is for the marrieds. And then the hare put up a hand. I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Yes. What is it? He said, what about some of us who sleep like married people? Should we also go?
And may I say to those of you who are not yet married, determine what kind of family you want to raise. Because the family that you raise, the children that you get, you will either sink them or you will raise them up to be good citizens and good people in the church.
If you read Proverbs 16:1, they tell you that the plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord.
Because we all need love. As long as we are humans, we need love. Now he says yes, but I'm praying that you will experience the greater love.
welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. But in case you have just joined us, it's the ballot 2026. It comes here from the Church of Uganda Family TV every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. And on this program, we really bring stakeholders to talk about the election that is coming up, to talk about the processes and the issues surrounding this election. And we think this is critical because an election means you make a choice on who is going to manage, or for that matter, mismanage your affairs for the next 5 years, but even beyond, because the impact can sometimes be felt even beyond. And in studio, Andrew Bbaale Mulumba is the DP aspirant for the Youth MP Central Region seat. Judith Nalukwago, Dr. Judith Nalukwago is aspiring for Lord Councillorship, LC5, Makindye West, that is for Kampala City. And joining us a little later is the Public Relations Officer in the office of the chairperson, in the office of the National Chair of the NRM. And that is Moses Kintu. Now, Moses, when we left, I promised the viewers that you are going to explain, as according to Dr. Nalukwago, that your candidate has no clue that the data is now a right for the young people, including yourself, where you belong. But also, the theme, the focus of our program is that you guys and your age mates are disconnected, they are discontented, they are on the periphery, and they leave it to us to play field. Why?
First of all, I want to send my greetings to all the viewers. I apologize for coming in a bit late, but as the Bible says, who is entrusted with much will be asked much. There is no way I could just send off people off the road to make sure that I reach in time from the eastern way.
You don't send them off? You haven't risen in the ranks. You all your brothers and sisters send us so flying.
Because why? We are suffering gains. The population of the vehicles on the road, no one even ever assumed that it would be like this, as it is. A person now works in Kampala, but they stay as far as Buyiko, and they have to drive Kampala each and every day and drive back. So we are suffering those consequences. What does that point us to? To start to think about expanding the railway transport network, because the roads are no longer feasible for us, and we need people to move. Besides that, I want to thank so much the people of the Eastern, Namayingo, thank you so much. The turn-up has been really impressive. It has been very interesting. It energizes and it really makes our candidate, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, continue having a joy and a vigor that I'm preaching a message to the young Ugandans, the Bazukulu, and they are indeed understanding what the message is. We are saying that we are protecting the gains, and as we move into a qualitative leap into the middle income status. And the person, the Nalukwago doctor, I found her talking about the serious gain. Them seven, these Kintus, they don't understand that data is a basic need. But it is this old man with the heart who understood that we must have an infrastructure of the internet. This old man with the heart took charge in 1986. I know, Mr. Baguma, you are in the know about all that has been happening in this country. You are one of the senior journalists we have.
Where I lived, he actually took over earlier than 86.
But to declare that we have Uganda in our hands, because we are holding piecemeals of the Uganda.
So I have experienced him for a little longer than 86.
Yeah, so if really you would be honest enough to help us than Museveni, to tell the young generation and Ugandans, how was the internet by that time? Was there something that you called the internet and you could communicate as we communicate now? Was the infrastructure the way it is now? So I am happy.
So wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Are you saying that the internet is a creation of President Yoweri Museveni?
It is a game.
Okay.
It is an infrastructure.
I just wanted to be
which
sure.
is again of the leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Okay, go ahead.
My good sister is thinking that this old man with the heart maybe does not know that data is a basic need, but is a man who is advocating for even the governance to go into the e-system. Is a man who is in the know that a person who would pilot internal affairs and they stand in long queues, right now they do everything in a digital way. So I think that person understands that data is very important, because what they are doing it at the internet. The only challenge we are having in our country, the young people, they have an image of how they think things should be. They are like an employee who wants to come and start working with family TV. What they see inside, they just assume about what could be inside when they get in there. But the moment they arrive in, things are totally different. What they expected sometimes is not what they face in reality. So the young people have a perception of how maybe a country might be run or managed. But in the real sense, when they get into leadership, they start to understand exactly how a country is managed. For example, in 2021, it was very challenging for a person of the President Museveni, in the COVID time that we had, to sit on TV, communicate to Ugandans, and tell them why we need his leadership. They had a new product on the block who was Bbaale, who could tell them that these things are possible. We are just going to do things our way. We are going to have a new government where each and every policeman is going to get such and such millions of money as a payment. They had hope because they are seeing a new face. But the God we believe and trust in the National Resistance Movement is really a mightier God. In areas like Central Region, because the National Platform forms the majority opposition party in Parliament, and they take the lead of opposition in Parliament, which makes them directly managing the system of government, how it is running. Because Parliament is the arm of government.
So the what is that? Leader of opposition and the minority in Parliament are directly running government?
They are running government.
How?
Because now, why am I saying that they are running government? They participate in the registration of the laws. Where they disagree and agree, their matters are captured on the hazard. They do the monitoring of the government system, how it is implemented. And whatever happens in there, sometimes we hear inside them crashing themselves. Why are you leaning to the system? Those are not our objectives. And the other is saying, but this is the right thing we are supposed to do. What am I trying to communicate here? They had an assumption about how a government should run. But managing a country, today, millions of leaders across the world are flying in Uganda to have a conversation with President Museveni, asking him what questions. How have you managed to rule a multi-tribal country for over a period of now close to 40 years? When we get next year, in June, we shall be making the 40 years. How have you managed to lead this country?
Because you guys are disconnected. Why are you disconnected? You, the young people.
Now, Mr. Baguma, when you look at myself, the National Resistance Movement, I have a membership of 18 million members who vote. But I have a total membership of 21, even of 16 years. Which means we have the young people. What these people outside forget, that His Excellency Museveni, our government, is a mixture of the aged and the young. Because the Bible says, the life of a young person, a youth, is like an eagle in the sky. It is always untraceable. Today he will tell you, I want to drive a BMW. Tomorrow they have their needs. Their needs shift instantly. That's what God was trying to communicate. And the wisdom in the scripture is that there is no formation of a stable community, a stable government, a stable institution where we have only one age bracket. We also need the old people. Just imagine if the Davids never had the Samuel. How would it have been? Do you think God is crazy that he communicates to the old people? And here in the Central Region, where I think Dr. Nalukwago has much deeper knowledge, about how they live and behave. They have something they call a sewer pot. How they make that pot? They get the old pot, they smash it down, they add the new clay, and they make a good pot.
These guys want you smashed.
And that is our government.
The old pots.
What our people think and sometimes skip to concentrate on, they want change. But what kind of change do they want? They want change, but they cannot describe to you the change they want.
They are here.
They want a change.
You finish, they are going to tell us.
They want a change. If we ask them, the change that you are pushing to have, the change that we saw trying to take shape in Tanzania, but by God's grace, East Africa was together and they resisted the enemy in frustration. That is the change they are talking about. They are talking about a change that you saw in Libya, a country where each and every citizen was paid, a country which had zero unemployment. That is Libya. They had zero unemployment. By the time you leave school, you have a salary and you have a job to do. But what did these foreigners told the young people? This man has overstayed on power. How does someone overstaying in power become a problem? Come back to Uganda. President Museveni has never reinstated himself on power. We always vote for him. And even this time round, we the young people, just like them, we are going to vote for President Museveni. And that is the first we call the Bazukulu. We are rallying behind him because why? President Museveni, when he stands to campaign, is giving you an image of where he found a Uganda. That is in 1986. He's telling you about an economy which was $3 billion US. And now we are talking about an economy a man has built, which is $60 billion US. He's talking about a road network. Maybe Dr. Nalukwago, when for him is in Kampala now, and says, I want to go and spend my night in Gulu. As it falls to 4 a.m., Dr. Nalukwago will be in Gulu. I think that wasn't the case in your times, in your youthful times, if you are honest enough.
But you conclude, and you will go to Nalukwago.
And me.
Because I've heard the Nalukwagos also comment on those.
And me, my only prayer is that it is a fact that we need change. A change that is pushing us to the better. And it is a fact that also in the national resistance movement, we have a problem with this government. And how I pray that His Excellency the President listens to our call. In the next term, let the leadership of the government be directly owned by the party, as we see in South Africa. Because here you are blaming NRM, the government is independent. I sell to you my manifesto, I'm going to do the parish development model, I try to do it, the government has most of the opposition people. Because they are non-partisan. That's what the Constitution says. And in there, these are the very people who come from the Nalukwago's group. They are there in government hiding their commissioners. They are there in government, they are engineers. And you are talking about who steals money for the roads. Not NRM. The person called government. Who says they are civil servants and for them they are non-partisan.
Jim Muhez is not NRM.
That one is a minister. He's not a civil servant.
Not NRM. When he stole money, he wasn't NRM. Anyway, you can ask the question.
No. I do not even want to ask any question. He has made assertions. And he was referring to you a couple of times. In other words, he's referring to NUP.
Okay. First of all, there is no NUP person in government. It's not true. Number two is, one, sometimes NRM people make me laugh. You know, they have only one blue-eyed raven, that is Museveni. They don't have a vision. Their vision is Museveni. They don't have a mission. Their mission is Museveni. Without Museveni, that party is not there. That is why they have not been able to change leadership for the past 40 years. Because if they had brilliant leaders in NRM, by now they would have a different leader. But because they don't have, their only vision, all man with a vision is Museveni. So, but anyway, moving forward.
You don't think that will be for Nope?
No. Oh. It can't. It can't. We have a breed of young people. We are here representing the party. Okay. Anyway, so moving forward, you cannot say Museveni has built roads when he came into power. He had 2,000 kilometers of road, and he's in power for 40 years. That was 20 years. He's in power for 40 years. we have only 6,000 kilometers of road. That means every single year he has only built 100 kilometers of road. That is incompetence. That is the highest incompetence I've ever seen of a government. And that is Museveni's government. Incompetent is the first word you think of. In Museveni's government, 60% of people in Uganda either unemployed or underemployed. Isn't that incompetence? That is pure incompetence. In Museveni's government, mothers die, almost 5 mothers die every single day while giving birth. That is pure incompetence. Mothers should not be dying while giving birth.
They have
Do you understand?
They have actually reduced so much that Uganda, and you're a doctor,
you see,
that Uganda is a benchmarking country.
No. You see, with the coming of technology, we expect much better from the Museveni government. Why? He's been in power for 40 years uninterrupted. We expect much better than we have today. We have hospitals. I've worked in a government hospital, Arua Regional Referral Hospital. Hospitals where you don't have medicines for the patients. You don't even have basic protective gear like gloves. There are days that passed where you cannot work on a patient because you don't have basic protective gear. And actually patients feel like you doctors are the ones who are taking the protective gear. But you just don't have it because government hasn't provided it. So that is the incompetence of the NRM government. The incompetence of NRM government where people steal money to the extent that a speaker shamefully stole Mabati. Iron sheets. The speaker stole iron sheets and nothing has ever been done to her. And other ministers, including Prime Minister, in fact, many of people in government who are NRM stole iron sheets of people meant for people in Karamoja who are suffering. And nothing has ever been done to them.
Actually, we know that almost the largest number of ministers to be prosecuted for one issue is Mabati. So something has been done.
No. The case was withdrawn. The case was withdrawn. You didn't see last week? It was withdrawn. And they only persecuted like 2-3 people. Did you see the speaker being persecuted? No, but they confessed that they took the iron sheets. So, such a government where corruption is the basis that keeps the government into power, it cannot be a government of competence. You understand? Where the president himself comes on national television and acknowledges that his people are corrupt, but there is nothing he can do about it. How competent is that person? So, the change we want, contrary to what he's saying, you know, they love to put words into our mouth. The change we want as young people, want to see ourselves employed. Unemployment is a national crisis in this country today. We want to see education and healthcare being accessible and affordable. Because if we do not do that, I've told you, you see, our population is growing by the day. By 2060, our population is going to be 104 million Ugandans. And almost 60% of those people will be working class. What has Museveni government done to prepare those people? Because that is going to be now my problem as Nalukwago, as a leader in that future. In that, those people are going to become thugs if they're not prepared well within, if that human resource is not prepared well, if those people are not educated, if they don't have good health, if they don't have good public services. That is going to be our problem, and that has been created by Musevenism. So, with a growing population, the service delivery has severely dwindled. And that is why we need a change in the system. A change in the system where, I've told you, politicians and technocrats are not prioritized over people who provide services like medical doctors and teachers. Because those are the ones that prepare the nation. That is what we want to do. We want a system where children go to school and feed so that they can get good education, good quality education. That is what, those are simple things which can be done. How much money do you need to feed children a whole year in public schools? 1.3 trillion? That is little money. Auditor General said.
Is that true?
Yes, we calculated it's 1.3 trillion Uganda shillings.
Buying what? And
buying
spending
food.
it how?
Yes. Buying food for children in school.
What kind of food?
Trillion. Milk, eggs, and portion beans. We calculated.
Jesus Christ.
The advantage we have as NUP, we are privy to the numbers, which you people are not. So, if the Auditor General said the government of Uganda every financial year loses 10 trillion Uganda shillings, imagine if we cut the corruption and saved just 8 trillion of that, already the kids are feeding. You can see that the kids already, the budget for feeding the kids is already there. You understand? So, those are the challenges that have been brought by the NRM government. But we young people are here saying, no. We have seen that you haven't worked for us for the past 40 years. We want change. We want a dynamic change that will help the young people in all aspects of their lives. Young people are unemployed. We want to get them employment. Young people, you know, you don't even have to give them employment. These young people can be innovative and creative. For example, why are you putting high taxes on data? Why are you closing Facebook? Do you know how many people lost their jobs because Museveni closed Facebook? Is the question you ask yourself. Now, how do you say that that man, the one-eyed raven in NRM, that man is privy or is knowledgeable about how important internet and data is to the young people when you can close Facebook?
And you're going to tell us why you closed Facebook. But before we go to you, he wants to jump in.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Mr. Baguma, and also our dear guest from NRM. It's so unfortunate that you missed my preamble, but I quoted a few things in your discussion where I said these people are just desperate for change, but they can't determine or define which kind of change. When I was beginning my conversation here, I said, as a teacher who is professional, from a realistic point of view, I don't advocate for violence because when such calamities happen, it is with the youth that are affected most. Most of the times, it is we who go to prison. It is we who lose the precious time. That's why I said boldly, I look forward for a Uganda where President Museveni shall hand over peacefully, remain respected and also consulted in the new Uganda that you want to take over the young people. Why? Because when you go back to history, Uganda shall have history even after 100 years. And teachers may pose a question to students like those ones who studied history. What led to success of the government of Mr. So and so? Give at least 7 factors, and you may be surprised that among the factors, it is the successful transition of power from NRM to any leader that God is going to choose. So I feel we appreciate President Museveni for the good things he has done. That's why we say, we as DP, particularly Andrew Bbaale, let time come and he handles over the power peacefully, because we also want a peaceful government that we are going to take over. You talked about the issue of internet, but there are two things. There's a difference between knowing and understanding. I believe that a lot of young people know what internet is, but they don't understand it. Understanding comes with how to use internet with the gadget that you do have. You also, now I want to take you maybe to places like where you come from. Me, I come from Mpigi, in a place called Jalamba. To be honest, a student from Jalamba or Luwero cannot compete with this current trend of ICT in the AI system.
Isn't it failure of government that they can't compete?
That's where I'm coming to. That's why you say there is internet, but it is not effective, because people know, yes, there is internet, but do they know how to use it? That's why we are saying we need to advocate for policies whereby we are nurturing this student who can compete on a global stage. I feel Uganda, we are competent enough with our resources like God to facilitate Wi-Fi all over the country. And then we limit those expenses from students. Why should the students pay for data? Why should they be taxed over data? Yet it is a necessity within the current generation. Now go back to secondary with the new curriculum of making constant research. Each and every student at a secondary stage or even university should be given a smartphone that is not less than 2 million Ugandan shillings. And with that Wi-Fi across the country, which is not taxed and whatever. So this one is going to empower this person in school. It is going to enhance research, and it also, on the other hand, going to enhance the business sector. Because in the modern trend, gone are the days when customers could run to your shop to come and buy the items. Now it is you to pass the message beyond the borders, and then people come to support you. That one has to be elevated with the power of internet that is very free within Uganda. So we appreciate the good things, but when you go back, maybe even when Mr. President is watching, we feel the little that is being done has to transit to another stage. We cannot be Libya at the moment, but we can improve, because you said Libya had zero unemployment.
Impossible.
Okay, that is what he said. We are not saying that that is the truth. If Libya had zero unemployment, we may say our Uganda, it may not be the case. But let people who are employed at least be with the proper working conditions. For example, even the wage bill needs to be revised. Because in the queue, people graduate. Now we have students, because we have youth in different categories. We have these ones who are going to graduate, so eager to get jobs. And they are not certain of what jobs they are going to get, even the working conditions again. A wage bill should be passed and revised, whereby at least a moderate Ugandan who has certified papers shouldn't be paid less than $300. That is approximately $1 million. That one is very possible.
Okay.
Yes. Now leave that one aside as I'm concluding this statement. We have the other aspect of the people who have no capacity to access formal employment. Let them be given free access to capital, and not just capital alone. Put mindset change programs and also exempt taxes from the youth. Because we have programs that are being initiated, but they end up not helping people because of missing certain important key aspects. You can't just give out money to a head that is not yet prepared. So those ones who want employment, let them get it, but at the same time be protected from exploitation by the employers. As a business teacher, I believe a job is just a temporary solution to a permanent problem, and the permanent problem is poverty. That's why I'm also on the other hand saying, let us have accessibility to capital.
Okay.
Then after getting the capital, you also exempt us from the taxes. We shall have a beautiful Uganda.
3 points taken. But you see, Moses, you are supposed to exempt people from taxes.
The young people.
But yes, and they are the majority. And but still provide them with the money to start and provide other services. Are you going to do that?
We're already doing part of that. Because the budget we are running currently.
And you said that you have a lot of money. 60 what?
The mode,
billion.
The mode of taxation we have, because a government runs on taxes. And if you have a population of majority being young people, you cannot say that you will make each and every young person who starts a business or every young person who is employed that they are not supposed to pay tax. However, we are looking at startups. At what rate should we tax them? It's in Uganda where a person, even if you are a local investor, you start a business which is 500 million and above, you are given a tax holiday. In this Uganda.
For foreigners.
I'm talking about any person who starts a business domestically. You are given a tax holiday. This is in this current budget where the Honorable Joel Osenyonyi is a leader of opposition. These are the things they agreed on. But the danger we have in this country, the Bible says that my people suffer because they lack knowledge. The knowledge in Uganda, there is a very big gap. All the opportunities, I've had my brother submitting very, very good and nice ideas. But I don't know if even the world there, the leaders take time to tell them that it is in Uganda under President Museveni's leadership where a person just requires a LC1 letter to introduce that person and go to the industrial hub and get skills for free. Because we do believe people can go to the university, but that is more theoretical, and we are starting to change the education policy to make it more practical. Because this is the president thinking. He always takes the analogy of a shirt he wears, his white shirt. A white shirt has like 5 layers of processing. The cotton, the harvesting, and that is where Ugandan stopped then. There is this person who buys your cotton, takes it to China, starts to spin it, makes the threads, dyes it, makes a cloth, tailors a shirt, and sells it back to you in Uganda. And President Museveni is asking himself, why do we give all of these jobs to foreigners? Why don't we keep those jobs in Uganda here? That is how we get to the industrial hubs.
And the Nalukwago will tell you that after 40 years,
A Nalukwago will tell me after 40 years. But a Nalukwago doesn't know that the problem we are dealing with of unemployment, actually in NRM we are very happy. I tell you, we are very happy. We are dealing with the problem out of a success. I want to tell you, Mr. Baguma, you are a journalist and you know much about what has been taking shape in this country. About 20 years ago, we lacked the Dr. Nalukwagos. We lacked these teachers. We had a professional deficient in the country. And we are just playing for people. You go get education, be scientists. That is how even someone had when the president said, I'm bringing in Chubans. That is something that happened then in the government, that we could bring in expatriates to come and do the cover-up of the gap. But right now, if I said I want doctors, Dr. Nalukwago can tell me how many they are that are not employed. I'm dealing with a problem which is out of a success. And how happy I am. Dr. Nalukwago, I was following her words very well. He said we are having a country where young people have no jobs. And he's saying we are having a country where himself, when I look at him, at her age, younger she is, I don't think she educated from anywhere outside Uganda. This is a game we are looking at.
I couldn't afford.
No.
So this is what you are protecting.
This is a game. These are the things we are. This is a game. When I'm having such young people at such an age and they are doctors, it is a game. In NRM, I'm happy. I have bought a Benz, but I have a problem of thugs passing around. And my burden is to build a wall to protect my base and get an Askari. That is the new problem out of the gain of a base. So I now have educated the Dr. Nalukwagos. There are so many. The scientists are so many. And he said, I am happy is having the same think line like the president. Which even I assume he listens, or she listens and consumes more of the president. This is a man who believes in science. And we are dealing with the burden of teachers saying how special the science than the humanities. Because these people are paid highly by the government. The scientists. So you are right in the thinking of the president, and that is the path we are taking. So, me what I would wish as young people to understand, I do not want the viewers to have a misconception that when we talk about young people, opposition are young people. The NRM has young people, we are here. We know exactly what we are talking about. When I come before you, I will tell you I'm propelling forward my pillars. Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation. I'm talking about that. Patriotism. It is a reciprocal of understanding what those pillars stand for, that I come and I tell you leadership is about this. It is not a matter of saying that I need change. You must explain why you needed the change. She said she was in Arua referral hospital and they could not have the gloves. Those hospitals, together with the leader of opposition and all the parliamentarians, they pass a budget each and every financial year. They allocate money to the national medical stores. They procure those items or properties. When they get to the store, it is a question we are investigating. How do those materials move out of the store? I've always questioned myself, do border people access the stores in the hospitals? So we are dealing with a modern day challenge of corruption, a modern day challenge of theft, a challenge where Dr. Nalukwago, who is a professional, she would refuse to touch on a patient unless she's given 50,000. And when she's getting a certificate, the oath is, I save life. Moment she gets on the job, government jobs are paying too little, we want to get 5 million, we are taking a strike.
So,
just something simple.
Yes.
Just something simple to add on there. He said that hospitals are given a budget. Does he know that the speaker's budget is bigger than the budget of a national referral hospital like Mulago? Imagine a speaker, one person.
What is the speaker's budget?
Speaker's budget is around 18 billion per year.
Don't make assumptions.
Yes.
Because I have the figures.
Yes.
The speaker's budget is not anywhere bigger than the national referral hospital.
Can we bring
my
this
sister
here?
Get the details.
Okay, so continue. First continue.
Okay. So if one person's budget is bigger than a referral hospital that is supposed to treat almost half of Ugandans, what do you expect? You expect that the gloves are going to be there?
I am hoping that the Edwin man can quickly check for me. I'm sure this information is available. What is the budget of the
speaker?
National Referral Hospital this year and what is the budget of the speaker. But anyhow, you were delivering.
Yes, so
a point.
If one person, that's why I told you, the cost of administration, especially to the politicians, is really high compared to the cost of service delivery. If the cost of facilitating politicians is high, there is no way you're going to render services to the people. And that is what we advocate for. Cut down the expenditure of the technocrats, of the politicians, so that you can get that money and put it in service delivery. The truth is, money is there, but it's the priorities of where we are putting our money. If people have budgets for donation, speaker, deputy speaker, who else?
Even the leader of
president,
opposition has.
Exactly. I have no problem with saying if the leader of opposition has a budget for donation, it should be cut. All those budgets for, what are you donating to? Who are you? You're a politician, you're a public figure. Why are you donating money? What we want from you is providing services to the people. So, if those budgets can be cut down and then put into service delivery. But if they are not cut down, we shall never see a better country. We shall never see medicines in hospitals. For me, I at least have experienced it, I've been there, and I'm telling you the truth. You go to those stores and there are no gloves. I cannot work on a patient when I have no protective gear. I mean, do I want to transfer my diseases to the patient or vice versa? So for me, as Nalukwago, my principles are, if there are no gloves, I am not working. Because even the little, because internship literally they just give you an allowance, they don't pay you. So how are you supposed to get the non-payment, then you buy for patients gloves? You understand? So
something small to highlight on the same issue.
I want you to respond to this. You see, he said that the medicines are brought to hospital stores and then they somehow disappear. So, who runs the hospital stores? And I'm just using hospital stores as an example.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Baguma. Even before coming to that, I wish to highlight something small. When my colleague said people like Dr. Nalukwago is one of the gains they are protecting.
In fact, when he said that, he also meant you, that you're also one of the
teacher.
gains.
Teacher, yes.
Teacher, please has been exported.
No, I'm not.
You are a head teacher, not just here, but an export of our system. That the skills that we made in this country, you have earned from them as, you know, so we are exporting human resource.
Okay. Now, there's just one thing I want to reflect upon. Within this Uganda that is so beautiful, the so-called Pearl of Africa, 80% of the parents cannot afford to create a person like her or a person like me. So you may be protecting a gain of somebody's effort, not necessarily the government. Because I have evidence, I've been heading an institution. I know a lot of potential citizens will lose every year that fail to be admitted to the university because, number one, they don't have tuition. Number two, they are afraid to make the points that can maybe help them attain the government sponsorship. So we get people who are diverted to different courses, not because that is what they want at heart, but because that is what they can afford. So that issue needs to be given attention, that among the gains, most of them are sweats of parents from deep villages with a lot of sacrifice through paying a lot of tuition. You talked about the issue of teachers, prioritizing the science teachers. As a teacher, when I hear that, I feel like even crying. Because when you go to a classroom and you are this kind of a person who is not motivated. Now, I also just want to create a mental picture to you. How do you think these science, or these teachers of arts are feeling when they spent the same time with the science teachers at school to attain their documents, but when it comes to a reward, which would be the payment, these ones are prioritized better. We may say it is technology, it is advancement, But how about the important people we have in the country like lawyers? Are they scientists? They are created by the so-called arts people. Even our beloved president, President Museveni, is a product of arts teachers, if I'm not mistaken. Even I personally. So I feel, as we are beautifying the message to our president, I also don't refute it, but I feel we need, people who are so close to him, need to have a deeper insight into some policies. I wish we amend that policy of saying we are prioritizing this category, we are leaving this one. Let all people be paid depending on their privileges and also the level of education, and not just the teachers. Even other fraternities, you go to the legal department, you go to the doctors, etc. And also, there's also something I was trying to put forward. It's not just about getting a job, because a job, I said it boldly, it is a temporary solution to a permanent problem, that is poverty. But I use certain of the working conditions which these people are undergoing through, especially the youth. I'm talking about a fresh graduate from Makindye, Chambogo, etc. People are underpaid, even sums of money you cannot imagine. Somebody with a bachelor's degree, diploma, being paid something like 100,000. Those things are existing here in Uganda. So I feel with all the powers we have, we can amend the wage bills and then protect the people who are under employment, especially in the private sector. I don't know much about the government, but we need to amend that. There should be a certain amount of money that shouldn't be paid to a professional person. That is the people who want employment as a benefit from school. Then the others who can't access employment, we give them capital, we mentor them, we exempt or we limit taxes to the least percentage. So I believe Uganda is so rich. When God was blessing nations, he blessed Uganda with the two hands, if I may beg that one. We have a lot of resources that can implement all these beautiful ideas. Why people are so desperate they want change? Because they feel they are not given attention. It's not out of much as some have a weird approach of even attacking with emotions. There should be a civilized way. That's why we are coming to Parliament to address these challenges that are not given attention. Okay. You may be protective because maybe you are one of the gains that are benefiting. But trust me, within the Uganda that you are also born from, and also the places where you come to, like where I come from, MPG, there are a lot of people who are struggling and not part of the gains that you are trying to advocate here via media. Let's go to Moses. Mr. Moses,
these people are telling
such issues
that they are not your gains, first and foremost.
And some of the gains are product of parents who have sacrificed even their land titles.
Mulumba, that is, your point has been taken.
Thank you so much.
That don't tie on them. They are not your gains. That too, that some of you, and if I misquote them, that some of you who have gained, who are gains, think that the gains have trickled. But also that you have no meaningful programs for them, young people, including yourself. You don't seem to agree.
I don't seem to agree. The main problem we are having, I'll repeat myself, there is a disconnection of the population with the government. And I take this as a weakness.
You seem to agree with our theme of this program.
Because why? I do pass a budget each and every financial year. Each and every financial year. But I feel sad and heartbroken to find a teacher who does not know that even teachers have a certain sum of money earmarked under the Microfinance Support Center. I feel very hurt finding a teacher not having knowledge that in the next financial year they are going to be having an increase on their salary. after their argument. Because me and Dr. Nalukwago, we believe science are very important, and indeed it is. Just like our grandfather Museveni, he believes science are very important. And we believe they are, because globally, science are key. However, we have to respect the humanities as well. And I feel very much saddened that Dr. Nalukwago and my brother and other young leaders out there, they can confidently continue to live in whatever societies they are living in. They are not aware that there is something called the Emeoga, where money is passed during the budget. They are not aware that there is something called a youth livelihood fund. They are not aware that there is something called women empowerment fund. They are not aware that even there is agricultural credit facilitation. They are not aware. But these all opportunities are available. And where does that point me to? The leadership we are having in this country, much as we are mistakenly choosing the old guard, but majority of the people in management of this government, it is with the young people. I do move in government offices, which I believe also my sister and brother also do. I wonder for them when they go to offices like the internal affairs and whatever government departments and agencies, they find their fellow young people who are in there. But I'm disturbed with the question of corruption. Why is our generation so corrupt? Why? What happened to our generation? What kind of prayer do we need as a generation? Because why am I touched on that? We have a proper system. I want to tell you globally, people come here and they wonder the policies we have in this country. However, when it gets to implementation, the young people are in police, the young people are in judiciary, the young people are in parliament. But those young people, less do they think about the future of their country. And even why we in the Bazukuru, under Hajat Adija Namyaru, we boldly say that we are lining behind this old man with the heart. Because we find an ingredient of value. Someone, now the man is debating about how do we access the ocean. Is disagreeing that for us to access the ocean, we must beg a country which is nearing the ocean. And is giving an analogy of a condominium, wondering that the compound must be owned by everyone. So listen to the man is thinking far. In countries like China, the people who are supposed to use TikTok, the social media, are people like Dr. Nalukwago, who are going to Omusomesa. They are going to discuss about important topics. Imagine they are regulating who is supposed to use the social media. Here in Uganda, Dr. Nalukwago is asking me, why did you close Facebook? Dr. Nalukwago doesn't know, in countries like India, there is no TikTok. He doesn't know, in some countries like Brazil, there is no X platform, or formerly what we call Twitter. So these things are happening, and the country determines to close any application after assessing the level of insecurity. If we continue to misuse the internet, we are injuring some people. I disagree with the young person because they have a phone. They go there and abuse other people and abuse the leaders instead of arguing with logic. There we are misusing the internet. And if any government assesses and finds this a threat to the citizen, they will shut it down. They will close it down. And that is how we resolve to close Facebook. And I want to tell you authoritatively, we don't regret closing Facebook. You are talking about the jobs of abusing people, the jobs of abusing religious leaders, the jobs of standing there and you abuse your leaders. Honestly, those are the jobs we are talking about. The internet is very good, but how do we use it? Mr. Baguma. Finally. Imagine yourself at your home. I believe you have children.
I have.
These children,
by the grace of God,
who some of them are graduates. See these children, one day, one time standing, and they tell you, sir, we live, but our living, you don't have a contribution. How would you feel? These young people today, Dr. Nalukwago, I don't know how many patients of polio she gets in her experience at the profession, but she does immunize. I wonder if she questions herself that one time what I'm immunizing was a problem someday, that there was polio. We are talking about a population that has spread so much that we are talking about close going to 50 million people. But do you think it's accidental a population to exist like a kind? there are some steps which are taken. And when I say these are potential gains, I mean it. Because at your age, there are many people, ask people who are doctors, aged, and they will tell you what it costed someone at your age to be a doctor. You will appreciate Museveni. Even you'll go back to Nupu and tell Bob Wine, you know what, my reader? I think we might disagree with this man, but why don't we give an audience and listen?
Education was free.
Okay, so
it didn't cost them nothing.
That is also a question.
We do not have so much time to the end of this show, so I want you to start reorganizing your concluding remarks. Yeah, but before we go there, I requested my production team to give us some statistics relating to our hospitals. Particularly, I think the debate was between
the
Mulago,
speaker,
referral,
regional referral hospitals.
No, national referral hospital.
I think I made a mistake. I wanted to say regional referral.
And yes, and I'm going to give all the statistics that I have been given by my team and the office of the speaker. So, in the 2025-26 budget, Mulago was allocated money in two ways. The first, as a specialized national referral hospital, it was given money for specialized services. That was about 17 point something
billion.
I think 17.7, 17.8. And it was also given another chunk of money, which is called for upgrades. And that's 103. But I remember in the remarks of the director, and I don't know why the 103 billion is not talked about, was saying Mulago Hospital needs 101 billion, but has been allocated something 17.8. So this 103, I don't understand.
It's for construction, those upgrades, it's not for restocking medicines. When you're talking about the budget of the hospital, is the restocking and all other those small things that are needed, the protective gear, what. That is what she was talking about.
Yeah, but you see, and I'm taking the Cancer Institute as an example, because I'm the chair of the board of the Uganda Cancer Society, so I'm interested in that. If you keep giving supplies only to the Uganda Cancer Institute without constructing the new wing and the cost of putting there atomic energy, which we need, and we had to go through, I don't know, International Atomic Agency, blah, blah. If you don't do that, you will still not be dealing with the problem. In the medium and long term, you need to deal with it.
Sure.
So I think, but anyway, those are the figures. And the regional referral hospitals, I think the regional referral hospital, from the figures that I was given, that has the highest amount of money is Masaka Regional Referral Hospital at 15 billion. And then the lowest is Soroti, that has 11 and something. Now, on the other hand, according to the figures I have been given, the office of the speaker has 19 billion. So the office of the speaker is higher than any of the regional referral hospitals. So I hope that settles the statistics.
But not the national.
Even the national, it's 18 billion.
Now we can go to the. Now we can go to closer to our concluding remarks, because you see this is important, and you see why this is important. I think. Oh, my colleague, by the way, who is about the same age as mine, first of all asked, aren't you reducing the problem of Uganda? Ages. Aren't you oversimplifying the challenge of Uganda to ageism? That there is a magic bullet, actually he said a magic wand, that there is a magic wand that if you put their youth, it will be solved. And that's it. Really. So that was the question. But the other thing is that if you put a young person in the office of the responsibility, would that change things? And says there are cabinet ministers who are youthful.
Very.
Are they performing?
And they are good thieves.
And the rest question was, the people you are talking about now, who are old, actually got offices when they were youth. So, people, are we being ageistic? Is this a magic wand that when you put the young people,
I wish we had time to answer.
Issues will be solved? Are the young people performing any better in the offices that they are in? I start with you, Dr. Nalukwago.
I think he talked about it as well. He expressed that even as young people, we are corrupt. But, like he said, it feels like we are reducing the problem to ageism. Of course, the problem is not entirely ageism. The problem is us Ugandans. But where does the problem come from? The problem comes from those in power, the people who have been in power for 40 years. If you've been in power for 40 years and you do not curb corruption, someone steals and they are not accountable. That means if a whole minister, if Jim Muhezi steals Gavi funds and they are not accountable, I now look at when I get into power, I'm like, oh, so if we can steal and not be held accountable, I'll also do the same. So it is a problem that has come from one generation and keeps on trickling down. The truth is, all of us are corrupt. I'll find a traffic office and they will get me for a traffic offense and I'll pay them money. For me to get a job, I think I have to pay money. So the challenge is with Ugandans at large. But where has it come from? It's lack of accountability with the leaders that we've had over time. If that accountability was there, when we know if someone steals, jail, or there's this kind of punishment, there is no for forgiveness, I don't think we would have these rampant vices of corruption and those and stealing of funds and etc. Attached to it. So for me, I feel like the problem comes from the leadership that has failed to hold rampant thieves, rampant corrupt people accountable to the system.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You have a minute and a half. Thank you so much. Same question. You are reducing this to ageism.
To clarify, ageism wouldn't be the solution much. I also want to clarify that. But people who understand their own challenges need to address them to the right table. That was the main point behind. Something small to clarify about where he said feels saddened to know, to say teacher was not aware that man has been increased. Yes, you would be saddened, but I'm looking at this on a broader perspective. I'm quite sure that you are aware we have two sectors that employ people, the private sector and also government. In my explanation, I say,
and they are old people and they are young people. You are reducing this. You are not answering, responding to my ageism.
Ageism, I was very clear. I said
yes,
it wouldn't be the solution, but people who understand their own challenges
we'll
need
with them.
to address them better.
So when we put, I'm also adding the other question I asked. So when you put young people, problems will be
to a certain percentage, because we're not saying entirely eliminate parliament to young people, but since they cover the biggest percentage of population, we feel they also deserve a better voice because they have challenges that are not known by the so-called elders. That is point number one. Yeah. Then I'm clarifying this.
30 seconds because we have to finish this program.
We have private sector and also government. Government employs people and also there are those in the private setting. I was very clear. I said people in the private setting need to be protected from exploitation by employers. There should be a certain percentage of money that shouldn't be paid to a professional person. When the government is increasing money for teachers, those are teachers on a government payroll. But there are a lot of teachers in modest schools within Uganda that are paid 100,000 make research.
So those should be protected.
Even not just the education fraternity, but
everywhere.
Even in other sectors. The wage bill has to be revised.
No, minimum wage. Your point is taken.
Thank you. Number two, I'm concluding.
My time is over. Because otherwise we will not get out of here and we are eating people's time. I am coming to you. You are also being ageistic, by the way, which is a risk to you. Because you work in the office of the national chairman.
Mr. Baguma and colleagues.
When we give you power, you will solve the problem.
I do believe it is true that those young people who take time to understand and question themselves the right questions, many times they come up with solutions. All the time when we are with our chairman, who refer to as Jaja, he refers to their student days, where they question themselves, what are the problems of Africa, starting with Uganda. And he always says, for him in his village, in Rachtura, he could find that all the neighborhood, they were almost selling similar products. And the only people who could buy milk from them, they were coming from another part of the country, maybe different tribe. And they understood how do we solve this? Let us build nationalism and patriotism in that we love one another as Ugandans, in that we can buy from
That's what they
ourselves.
should do.
So now, we the young people, we are not criticizing the age. But the question is, also you, the elders, who are being threatened by these young people because they are pressuring you, you have not done your part right to mentor, to train this young generation. Why are we sticking with the President Museveni? Because of the quality, the establishment he had, the foundation when he was a young person. That's why we are with him. And conclusively, I do believe the question should be, Mr. Baguma, how many Bagumas have you trained? The question should be, when you look at your back, when you leave that seat, do you have a Baguma you can feel confident with? These are the questions we always discuss with General Muhoozi. I want to tell you one time,
and I want you to
the general, when he became the CDF, he asked a question, how does the army continue to have theft of fuel? He sat in the seat of the CDF, is a product of the UPDF, one of the youngest CDFs we've ever had, and is addressing zero tolerance to corruption. And we are very happy. So a young person knowing the solution, a younger person having understood what the problem is.
Okay. We'll have no.
First analyzing what is the problem, and then find the solution.
We shall have solution.
That is the quality we want of the young people.
I want to go to the viewers and thank them very much for staying with us. Before I finish with them, I want to thank you, my panel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nalukwago. Judith, you are aspiring for woman council.
Yes, woman Lord Councillor.
Okay, we add Lord. Woman Lord Councillor. For Makindye West.
3. Yes,
As
Makindye
part
3.
of, you want to be part of the Kampala City Council.
Exactly.
Authority.
Where our Lord Mayor is going to be Bbaale Mwezu.
We wish you luck.
Thank you.
Nandrubane Mulumba. You would like to be Member of Parliament for young people, for youth, for Central Region. Thank you very much for coming. We wish you luck.
Thank you, sir.
And from the office of the chairman,
you
would like your chairman to win.
I'm just asking you, Mr. Baguma, asking Dr. Nalukwago, asking my brother, Museveni, you should stick with him. Vote Museveni.
Thank you very much, viewers, for staying with us. Thank you very much for staying with Church of Uganda Family TV. Join us again Wednesday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And please participate in the election. It is your duty, it is your responsibility, but also it is what gives you the power to determine your leaders. I thank you and God bless.